Okay. So hello guys. So last time we've discussed about corporations, right? So for this day, let's talk about partnership taxation. So sa partnership taxation, ang laging mo lang tatandaan, the same treatment yan sa corporation. So medyo madali na yung discussion natin dito. Kasi kung ano yung pinag-usapan natin before sa corporations, yun din yung tax treatment for the partnership. Kung maaalala mo, yung corporations natin, tama, yung corporations natin, hinahati natin sila sa dalawa. Pwedeng ordinary and special corporations. Dito, for partnership, hahatiin din natin siya. Meron ding ordinary partnership, pero hindi special partnership, but rather exempt partnership. Okay, si partnership naman, usually domestic corporations lang tayo dito. So domestic partnership lang, domestic corporations na yung treatment natin. Kung maalala mo sa corporations, yung ordinary domestic corporations mo doon, subject saan? Sa RSET and sa MSET. Same lang din yan sa partnership. Subject siya sa RSET. Ano yung RSET mo? Tama, it's either 25% or 20%. Yung 20% kapag na-meet mo yung threshold or hindi mo na-breach yung threshold na dapat yung net taxable income mo does not exceed 5 million pesos and yung total asset mo excluding the value of the land does not exceed 100 million pesos. Yun yung 20% RSET. Pero ang general rule natin kapag walang sinabi sa problem, hindi sinabi na yung partnership or yung corporation, hindi sinabi yung value ng asset, ang assumption mo, dito ka muna, 25% RSET. Ano yung tax rate natin for MSET? Tama, 2%. Okay, so dalawa lang si partnership. It's either ordinary partnership and exempt partnership. So unahin natin, ano ba yung ordinary partnership na yan? Si ordinary partnership, tinatawag yan as ordinary partnership, number 1. Minsan, tinatawag din siya as general co-partnership. Minsan, tinatawag din as business partnership. As long as yung partnership is for profit, taxable yan for income tax purposes. Ano naman yung exempt partnership natin? Yan yung tinatawag natin as GPP, yung General Professional Partnership. That's the kind of partnership na ginawa mo para mag-practice ka ng profession. Let's say for example, si A plus si B na gumawa ng partnership. Si A, CPA, si B, CPA. Anong ginawa? Accounting firm. General Professional Partnership daw yan. Kapag si A or si B, parehas na lawyer. Gumawa ng law firm. Yung ginawa daw nilang partnership, General Professional Partnership. Sir, si A, CPA, si B, attorney. Gumawa ng accounting firm. Yung ginawa nilang partnership, hindi yan GPP, but rather business partnership. Okay, dapat parehas CPA gumawa tapos nagpa-practice ng accounting or nagpa-practice ng kanilang profession. Parehas na attorney, nagpa-practice ng kanilang profession. Okay? So, yun si General Professional Partnership. Yan lang naman yung exempt partnership. So, kapag hindi sinabing General Professional Partnership, ang assumption mo dito ka ulit, ordinary partnership tayo. Kapag ordinary partnership ulit, taxable like a corporation. Okay? Sige. Sa RFBT mo, tama, discuss. Ano ba si partnership? Naalala mo pa? Dapat alam mo. Ano yun? Accordance. In accordance with the Article 1767 of the Civil Code. Tama, sinabi doon that a partnership is a contract where two or more persons agree to contribute money, property, industry to a common fund with the intention of dividing profits among themselves. That's the partnership. Pero yung legal side, i-discuss yun na yun sa RFBT subject ninyo. Dito, ang i-discuss natin is about the taxation perspective. Okay? Sige. Si partnership, ulitin lang ulit natin, this is a separate entity. Bakit? Kasi part siya ng juridical entity. Tama, yung persons natin, ako in accordance with taxation, merong natural and juridical persons. Si partnership daw is a separate entity having a juridical or is a juridical entity having a separate entity. Ulitin ko, pag separate entity ka, meron kang right like a natural person to have a property and to incur an income itself. Okay? Siyempre si partnership, ordinary partnership na muna tayo ha. Ordinary partnership. Sige, ko na lang. Ordinary partnership. Si ordinary partnership, syempre, meron yang sales, meron yang cost of sales, meron syempre yung gross profit, tapos pag inad mo yung non-operating income, then i-less mo yung mga operating expenses, makukuha natin si net income. Yan yung basic income statement natin. Tama? Okay. Ngayon, sabi daw, si ordinary partnership daw, itong income ni partnership na yan, taxable daw yan. Like a corporation. Okay? Saan yan? Siyempre sa RCIT. Net taxable income kasi yan. Kapag naman daw ito, siyempre like corporation ka, pwede ka masubject sa MCIT. Ito naman daw, general professional part, gross profit plus non-operating income, dito mo naman daw isa-subject si MCIT natin. Okay, ulitin ko yung income ni ordinary partnership, separately tinatax mo yan sa income taxation. Parang corporation. Sir, syempre si net income, tama, i-distribute ko yan. Kanino? Kay partner A, tapos kay partner B. Anong mangyayari daw? Yung income na dinistribute kay partner A or kay partner B, o yung share nila sa profit, regardless kung dinistribute or hindi, as long, syempre meron ng share yan. Tama, may share na yan. Ito daw, yung income daw na na-distribute or yung share daw ni A and B sa net income ng partnership, saan daw subject yan? Sa final withholding tax. Tama yung final withholding tax mo, meron tayong mnemonics. RIP, sa'yo, WD. Tama? Nandito yan sa S. Yung S ngayon, tama, the same treatment as dividend. Ano ba yung dividend mo? Si partnership mo, usually domestic corporation lang naman yan. Ibig sabihin, yung partnership, yung share in the net income of a partnership nanggaling sa isang domestic corporation. And ano yung mga rules natin dun? Kapag yung naka-receive si resident citizen, si non-resident citizen, si resident alien, ano yung tax rate mo? 10% of final withholding tax. Kapag non-resident alien that is engaged in trade or business, ano yung tax rate mo dyan? 20%. Pag non-resident alien that is not engaged in trade or business, yung tax rate mo dyan, tama, 25%. Okay, ulitin ko yung income ni ordinary partnership taxable sa income taxation. Yung dinistribute kay A and kay B, subject saan? Final withholding tax. Nasa S yan. The same treatment sa dividends. Ito yung mga tax rate dyan. Pag ang naka-receive si resident citizen, non-resident citizen or resident alien, 10%. Pag ang naka-receive non-resident alien engaged in trade or business, 20%. Pag ang naka-receive non-resident alien not engaged, 25%. Okay? Okay na. Sige. Sir, what if hindi to income? What if yung result ng partnership natin naka-loss? What if loss daw? Anong treatment mo? Sabi daw, kapag naka-loss, si partner can claim the loss as a deductible expense. Allowable deduction mo daw yan pag nagka-loss si ordinary partnership. Kuha mo yan? Nakuha? Sige. Sure, siyempre si A, tapos si B. Meron yung separate ITR. Yung income na to, tama, si A, tapos si B may share sa income ng partnership. Anong gagawin ko dun sa income na nakuha ni A and si B? Lalagay ko pa sa ITR yan? Sige, lalagay mo pa sa ITR? Hindi na. Bakit? Sinubject mo na nga sa final withholding tax. Tama yung rules natin ulit sa final withholding tax. Pag na-subject ka sa final withholding tax, yung tax na binayaran mo dyan is final. Hindi mo na yan kailangang ilagay sa ITR mo. Hindi mo na yan kailangang is-subject sa regular income tax mo. Kuha? Sige. Sir, what if naman? What if si B binigyan ng salaries? Binigyan ng salaries ni partnership. Dalawa yung treatment mo dyan. Pwedeng yung salaries na nagkuha ni B galing kay partnership is a compensation income sa point of view ni B. Compensation income niya yan. And it is a deductible expense of the partnership. Okay? Kapag merong na-receive na salary si B kay ordinary partnership, compensation income yan ni B. Salaries yan. Deductible expense yan ni partnership kasi nandito yan sa operating expenses niya. Okay? So, pero, kung maaalala mo, sa AFAR subject mo, Advanced Financial Accounting and Reporting subject mo, tama, meron ka dun sa partnership operations. Dun sa partnership operations mo, dinidistribute mo yung net income ng partnership in 4 different ways. Tama, meron yung through salaries, meron yung through interest, meron yung through bonuses, tapos yung residual amount, yun yung hahatiin mo. Depende sa agreed profit or loss ratio mo. Yung salaries daw, kapag yung salaries daw is through distribution of net income, okay, kung yung salaries daw ng ordinary partnership is in a form of distributing the net income, sabi daw, it is not a compensation of B, but rather subject to final withholding tax. And it is not a deductible expense of the partnership. Hindi yan kasama sa operating expenses mo. Bakit? Kasi kailan mo ba na-incur yung expense na yan? Dito, binawas mo yan dito na part. So, ulitin ko Pag mayroong salaries na na-receive si partnership B, tignan mo muna. Ano ba yung treatment? Expense ba yan ni partnership? Kung expense yan ni partnership, compensation income yan ni B. Hindi sir, distribution niya ng net income ni partnership. Yun yung form ng pag-distribute niya ng partner ng income kay B. O, di ibig sabihin, yung na-distribute kay B, subject sa final withholding tax yan. Okay? Tapos, since hindi naman siya operating expenses ni B, wala yan dito sa operating expenses. Nandito yan sa deduction sa net income natin. Nakuha mo yun? Sana na-gets mo. Pag hindi mo na-gets, backward mo lang, ulitin mo lang, mag-gets mo din yan. Naniniwala ako sa'yo. Okay? Sige. Ngayon, gusto ko lang i-emphasize itong net income ni partnership, yung share ni A and ni B sa net income ni partnership, regardless kung dinistribute yan or hindi, isa-subject mo na yan sa final withholding tax, okay? Kasi share na yan ni A and ni B sa partnership talaga. So, sa batas, tinatawag yun, it is taxable regardless if distributed or constructively distributed by the partnership daw. Okay, kuha mo yun? Sige. Move on tayo Punta tayo ngayon sa General Professional Partnership. Anong meron sa General Professional Partnership? Si GPP, syempre, meron din yan neto. May sales, may cost of goods sold, syempre meron din yung gross profit. Syempre kasi meron din sariling operations yan. Merong operating income, meron siyang operating expenses, makukuha mo yung net income. Yan yung operation ni GPP. Kung mapapansin mo, the same lang yan sa ordinary partnership mo. Tama? Okay. Ngayon, sabi daw ni tax law code, ito daw net income ni GPP na yan, hindi daw yan subject to regular income tax. Emphasize ko, hindi subject saan? Sa regular income tax lang. Baka kasi sabihin mo, merong nagsasabi, si GPP daw hindi subject sa income tax. No. Bakit? Kasi si GPP, subject pa rin yan sa final withholding tax pag meron siyang passive income na na-incur. Subject yan sa capital gains tax kapag meron siyang capital gains tax na kailangang bayaran dun sa mga capital transactions na dalawa. Hindi lang siya subject dito. Yun sa net income niya na dapat is subject mo sa regular income tax. Dito lang siya exempted. Okay, hindi siya exempted sa buong income tax. Dito lang yan exempted sa regular income tax. Gusto kong emphasize yun. Dapat alam mo yun. Okay, ito pa. Gusto kong emphasize. Si GPP, hindi yan subject sa regular income tax. Wala yang babayaran sa ITR. Pero, does it mean na hindi na siya kailangang mag-file ng ITR? No. Okay, take note. they are not subject to regular income tax, but they are required to file income tax return. Okay, required sila mag-file ng income tax return. Ang ginagamit dyan, BIR Form 1701X. Tandaan mo yan. Okay, BIR Form 1701X. Sinabi yan mismo sa Section 26 of the Tax Code. Sabi sa Tax Code, hindi sila magbabayad ng regular income tax, but they are required to file ITR. Bakit daw? Bakit daw sila required mag-file ng ITR? For the purposes of disclosing the share of each partner. Okay, para daw walang dugasan. Sabi ni batas. Sabi ng Congress, walang dugasan. Baka daw kasi si A, tapos si partner B, hindi i-report na merong income na na-receive sa General Professional Partnership. Kaya ang sabi daw si GPP, mag-file ka ng ITR para makita namin kung accurate ba yung nilagay na income ni A and ni B sa kanilang separate ITR. Anong separate ITR yun? Tama, yung net income ni A o yung net income ni partnership, meron ulit share si A, tapos si B. Tama. Siyempre si A, tapos si B, magpa-file yan ng separate ITR. Ang sabi daw, ito daw, kanina subject sa final withholding tax. Ito daw, hindi subject sa final withholding tax. Hindi yan subject sa regular income tax, yung net income. Hindi subject yung dinistribute kay A and kay B sa final withholding tax. But they are subject to creditable withholding tax. And yung income na na-receive ni A and ni B is included to ITR. Okay? And is subject to graduated tax table. Individuals na yan. Balik ka ngayon sa individual concepts natin. Subject sa graduated tax table kapag regular income tax. Sir, hindi eh. Individual taxpayer, dalawa yung option ko dun eh. Dalawa yun eh. Pwedeng 8% tapos graduated tax table. Bakit graduated tax table lang yung sinasabi mo dyan? Hindi na ba sila pwedeng mag-avail ng 8% options tax? Yes! Hindi na sila required. Hindi na sila qualified ba kapag avail ng 8% option tax. Yun yung tatandaan mo. Bakit? Tama, yung computation mo ng 8% option tax, sales plus non-operating income, times, tapos makuha mo yan, makuha mo yung sagot mo dyan, times 8%, tapos yun na yung tax due mo. Naalala mo? Oh, tama yung 8%, hindi ka pwede mag-allow ng kahit anong deduction dyan. Meron lang up to 250,000 kapag purely self-employed business ka. Pag self-employed person ka, tapos purely from business yung income na na-earn mo, 250,000 lang yung allowable deduction mo. Pero yung mga operating expenses mo, yung mga cost of goods sold mo, hindi mo pwedeng i-allow as deduction. Kuha mo yun. Yung non-operating income mo na yan, kasama dyan yung income mo from GPP. Yung income mo from GPP, net income yung nare-receive mo dyan, which is nagdeduct ka ng operating expenses, nagdeduct ka ng cost of goods sold. So sinasabi, hindi mo na pwedeng i-avail yung 8% kasi yung non-operating income mo daw dyan, meron na daw kasamang deductions yan. Kaya, sabi daw, specifically, sinabi sa tax code kapag na-subject or meron kang income from a general professional partnership, you cannot avail 8% option tax. Okay? Sana malinaw Sana malinaw. Ito ngayon yung gusto kong emphasize pa na isa. Hindi ka subject sa final withholding tax, pero subject ka sa creditable withholding tax. Dito ngayon yung magandang time para i-discuss ano nga ba yung difference ng final withholding tax versus creditable withholding tax. Ito lang yung difference niya, no? F tapos C. Yung F sinabi dyan, final tax. Yung C, sinabi dyan, creditable tax. Kung naaalala mo pa yung discussion natin sa individual taxation, sinabi ko doon, si final withholding tax, yung tax na na-compute mo dyan are deemed final. Wala ka ng additional deductions, wala ka ng additional additions. Kung magkano yung na-compute mo, yun yung binayaran mong tax. Yun yung babayaran mong tax. Sa creditable withholding tax naman, ang sinasabi lang dito, kapag na-compute mo daw itong tax due mo na to, meron ka pa daw additional deduction dito which is yung mga advance payment mo daw or yung mga advance payment na winidhold sa'yo ng mga withholding agent, dito. Meron ka pa daw additional deduction dito para makompute mo yung tax payable natin. So yung concept lang ng creditable withholding tax, nagbayad ka ng tax, winidhold sa'yo yung tax in advance. But that doesn't mean that it is final. Sa final withholding tax, winidhold din yung tax. Pero yung binayaran na yung winidhold na tax are final. So yun yung difference ng final withholding tax and creditable withholding tax. Marami kang makikitang problems dyan na merong sinasabi net of creditable withholding tax, whatsoever. Yung creditable withholding tax, hindi yun kasama sa operating expenses mo. Saan yun kasama? I-deduct mo lang yun sa tax due mo para makuha yung tax payable mo. Okay? Sana malinaw yung general professional partnership ha. Yung partnership ulit, ordinary partnership, taxable like a corporation. Yung general professional partnership, hindi subject sa regular income tax yung net income. Pero hindi sinabing hindi sila subject sa income tax. Kasi subject pa sila sa final withholding tax and capital gains tax kung meron silang na-incur na income sa mga yan. And hindi porket exempted daw sila sa pag-file ng regular income tax is hindi na sila kailangan mag-file ng ITR kasi required daw sila mag-file ng ITR to disclose the share of each partner. Sinabi yan sa Section 26 of the Tax Code, BIR Form 1701X yung ginagamit or EX yung ginagamit ng mga GPP. Sa pa, yung share ni A and B sa net income ni GPP, hindi yan subject sa final withholding tax, pero bini-withholdan daw yan, creditable withholding tax lang. And yung income na na-receive ni A and ni B kasama sa ITR ni A and ni B. Okay, sana na-emphasize ko na maayos. Okay, okay na yun? Pause ka muna kasi tapos na tayo sa partnership. Okay, nakapag-pause ka na? Good, play muna ulit. Proceed tayo sa co-ownership. Ano meron sa co-ownership, sir? Si co-ownership, okay? Si co-ownership parang partnership lang din yan. So, ibig sabihin, yung treatment sa partnership which is taxable sa RSIT and sa MSIT, meron din yan sa co-ownership. Ano ba yung co-ownership, sir? Co-ownership usually arises due to, number 1, when 2 or more heirs. Okay, ibig sabihin ng heirs, merong namatay. 2 or more heirs daw, or pwede naman daw beneficiaries. Beneficiaries inherit an undivided property. Okay, naka-inherit, nakakuha sila ng undivided property. Or number 2, it's either of the two, when a donor gives an undivided property. Then, okay, kailangan undivided yung property. Co-ownership daw yan. Okay, anong treatment sa co-ownership, sir? Corporation lang din yan. Ngayon, dito kay co-ownership, pwede din natin siyang hatiin since corporation siya. Pwedeng ordinary corporation and pwedeng exempt corporation. Pero ang difference lang kapag usapang co-ownership, nabanggit co-ownership, hindi sinabi kung ordinary or taxable or ordinary or exempt partnership. Pag sinabing ordinary, taxable. So hindi sinabi kung taxable or exempt corporation. Ito yung general rule mo. Exempt ang co-ownership. Okay? Bakit exempt from its salient feature? Because the activities of a co-ownership are limited to preservation only. Okay? Nakaroon lang kasi ng income daw si co-ownership dahil preserve lang naman nila yung property. Okay? Hindi naman daw yung main purpose ng co-ownership is to incur profit. Hindi lang talaga nila ma-divide muna yung property. Tapos, hindi mo inaasahan nagkaroon ng income, yung income daw na yun, exempt daw yun. Or parang hindi exempt, okay? Sinasabi na si co-ownership is not a separate entity. Exempt daw si co-ownership itself. Pero yung income yung income dito sa properties na na-receive, saan taxable? Taxable to the co-owner. Okay, so parang GPP ngayon, yung general rule natin ng co-ownership. Nakuha, ulitin ko, baka nalito ka. Nalito ka ha, sige, dahan-dahan ng konti. Ang sinasabi ko lang dito, kapag merong na-incur na income si co-ownership, ang iisipin mo muna, hindi siya subject sa taxation, hindi subject sa taxation si co-ownership. Okay? Yung income na na-receive ni co-ownership, i-distribute yun kay co-owner A tapos kay co-owner B. Yung income ngayon na yun, taxable kay co-owner A and kay co-owner B. Hindi siya taxable kay co-ownership. Okay? Ngayon, exception to that general rule, ito yung exception natin, ordinary daw siya. Or taxable na lang. Alisin mo na lang yung ordinary, baka malito ka pa. Taxable daw si co-ownership. Kailan daw magiging taxable si co-ownership? Number 1, kapag it was formed voluntarily. Okay, na-form mo yung co-ownership mo voluntarily by agreement of the partners. Okay, and engages beyond mere preservation. So kapag sinabing nagkaroon na daw siya ng activity that are beyond just mere preservation, taxable na daw si co-ownership. Kasi ibig sabihin, ginusto nyo na magkaroon talaga ng profit. Or, number 2, if the income derived from co-ownership is reinvested into another income producing ventures. Kapag ganyan daw ang nangyari, meron daw na income na na-incur si co-owner galing kay co-ownership or galing dun sa undivided property. Tapos na-reinvest daw nung mga co-owner. Sabi daw, si co-ownership taxable na as separate entity. Kuha mo yon? Kuha. Sige. Very good ha. So yan lang naman ang meron tayo for co-ownership. So tapos na tayo sa partnership. Tapos tayo sa co-ownership. Let's move on to our next discussion. Pasukan na natin si estate. Very minimal lang kasi itong mga topic na to. Kasi na-discuss na natin yan sa individuals and corporate taxation. Si estate naman ngayon, tatandaan mo dito, this is a separate entity also, juridical entity also yan, that is taxable like an individual taxpayer. Okay, so ibig sabihin, pwede siyang masubject sa 8% option tax, pwede siyang masubject sa graduated tax table. Yan si estate. Si estate, in accordance with Article 776 and 771 of the Civil Code, sinabi that an estate refers to a mass of totality of properties or rights and obligations of a deceased person which were not extinguished by his death. Yan daw yung estate. Ang haba na sinabi ng Article 776 to 700 and 771 of the Civil Code. Pero in short lang, yung estate daw, yan yung iniwang property nung namatay. Okay, si estate daw, yan yung iniwang property nung namatay. Kung gagawa natin ng kwento yan, merong decedent. Si decedent, tao yan. Tapos ano nangyari? Meron daw namatay. Namatay daw yung decedent. O yan, nasa kabaong. Lagyan natin ng shade. Sir, bakit merong shade? Tama, mukha lang naman yung nakikita mo pag nasa kabaong. O yan yun. Tapos si namatay daw, si property daw, merong properties. Yung properties daw niya naiwan ni na namatay, yan daw yung tinatawag na estate. Okay, ngayon si estate, syempre, property na lang iniwanan. Merong magmamanage yan. Okay, it will be managed. Sino magmamanage? Pwedeng tao. Okay, yung tao na nagmamanage diyan, pwede mo siyang tawagin as, minsan tinatawag siya as executor, minsan administrator. Okay, minsan executor, minsan administrator. Minamanage yan. Bakit imamanage? To distribute. Para ma-distribute nila yan. Okay, kanino? Tama, kanino? Sa mga heirs. Sa tagapagmana nung namatay. So, yan yung kwento ha. May namatay, tapos yung namatay, mayroong naiwanang property. Yung naiwanang property, hindi naman daw niya sinama sa hukay. Kaya ang nangyari, merong estate. Estate daw yung property na yun. Yun yung properties na naiwanan nung namatay. Ngayon, imamanage siya ng isang tao. Pwedeng executor, pwedeng administrator, para daw ma-distribute kanino sa mga tagapagmana. Okay? So, from the time na minanage, up to the time na hindi pa nadidistribute yung heirs, yung properties, meron niyang nai-incur na income. So, nagkakaroon niya ng sales, meron niyang cost of sales ulit, gross profit, non-operating income, merong operating expenses, tapos nakukuha yung net income. Okay? Ganyan lang ulit. Meron siyang sariling operations. Ngayon, sabi daw, yung sariling operations niya na itong net income na to, since meron daw income yan, subject na naman daw yan sa income tax. Ang question na lang dito, kanino? Kanino subject sa income tax yan? Dalawa ngayon. Kapag daw yung estate daw na ito, okay, is number 1, it was being managed under judicial settlement. Number 2 daw, kapag manage under extrajudicial settlement. So, anong difference niyan? Pag sinabing under judicial settlement, this is with court intervention. So, meron daw sinasabi si court dito or pinakikialaman tayo ni korte. Pag walang court intervention, extrajudicial settlement daw yun. Okay, kapag under judicial settlement daw tayo, ang sinasabi, yung estate daw is a separate entity. Kapag separate entity, kanino daw taxable yung net income? Kay estate mismo. Okay? And si estate, paano mo ulit siya tinatax? Parang individual taxpayer. Sir, paano kapag extrajudicial? Saan taxable? Sabi daw, kapag extrajudicial, taxable daw siya sa mga heirs. Okay? Separate ITR naman ni heirs. Okay? Nung mga tagapagmana. Ulitin ko ulit. Si estate, they are taxed like an individual. So, yung rules mo sa individuals tapos sa estate parehas lang. Meron lang konting twist meron lang konting difference with the twist. Ano yun? Si estate daw, pag taxable daw siya as separate entity, ito daw, meron daw siyang special deduction. Okay, ano yung special deduction daw na yan? Yun yung income that was distributed to the heirs. Okay, sabi daw kapag yung income daw na na-incur dito ni estate, dinistribute daw niya sa heirs. Sabi daw, hindi na daw taxable yan kay estate. Deduction daw yun sa net income. Para daw siyang expense. Para daw siyang allowable deduction. Allowable deduction mo raw siya. Yung income na dinistribute mo kay heirs, allowable deduction mo daw yun sa net income. Tsaka ka lang magsusolve ng income tax due matapos mong i-deduct yung special deduction na ito. Okay? And yung deduction na yan, subject yan sa CWT. Ulit. Okay, bakit? Kasi yung special deduction o yung income na dinistribute ni heir or ni estate sa heir is taxable na saan? Kay heir na mismo. Okay, taxable na yan sa separate ITR nung mga tagapagmana. Okay, yan lang yung special deduction. Yan lang yung natatanging twist. Huwag kang malilito. Okay? Ang sinasabi ko dito, kapag si estate nag-distribute ng income kay heir, sir, paano kapag nag-distribute si income or si estate ng properties? Yung dinistribute na income or yung dinistribute na property ni estate, okay, yung dinistribute na property ni estate, hindi yun subject sa income tax. Hindi yun subject sa income tax ni heir. Hindi yun subject or hindi yun part ng allowable deduction ni estate. Okay, emphasize ko lang, yung ina-allow natin as deduction dito kapag nag-distribute ka ng income, kanino? Sa mga tagapagmana. Pag yung dinistribute mo sa tagapagmana, hindi income but rather yung property mismo or yung estate mismo, hindi yun allowable deduction, hindi yun taxable kay heir. Saan yun subject? Sa transfer tax, which is i-discuss na lang natin sa separate video. For these video purposes, focus lang tayo sa income tax treatment natin. So, yun lang yung gusto kong emphasize ha. Hindi subject sa tax kapag yung dinistribute mo is yung property ng estate mismo. Okay? Last na. Okay, last na to. Individuals, meron din tayong tinatawag na trust. Si trust naman, separate entity din yan. Okay? Si trust naman, ihalin tulad mo na lang siya, parang estate. It is like an estate. So, ibig sabihin, taxable lang din siya, like an individual taxpayer. Yung concept ng estate, yung concept ng trust, parehas lang yan. Usually lang, kapag trust, yung nagbigay ng property, buhay pa. Okay? So, meron tayong tinatawag na grantor naman. Sa grantor, si grantor, nag-transfer. Okay, nag-transfer. So, lagyan natin dito, sino nag-transfer? Yan, buhay pa, kaya nakatayo pa. Kanina ibibigay? Kanina, binibigay sa sa heir. Ngayon dito, tinatawag as beneficiary. Okay? Usually kasi si beneficiary, pwedeng sabihin, minor pa lang muna, or minsan, insane pa. So, wala pa or incapacitated pa to receive that donation. Kaya ang nangyayari, merong nagmamanage. Yung nagmamanage, usually naman dito tinatawag as fiduciary or pwedeng trustee. So, same concept lang din sa estate. Okay? Ngayon, dito ngayon sa trust, yung tax treatment natin for trust, depende kung ano yung klase ng classification ng trust mo. Tatlo lang naman yan. Meron ka nung irrevocable trust, and number 2, merong revocable trust. Pangatlo, merong employee trust. Okay? Kapag irrevocable trust, ito, taxable as a separate entity. So, kapag merong na-incur na income yung trust, saan sa itatax? Kay trust mismo. Si trust daw, merong separate entity, parang estate. Irrevocable trust yon. Kapag revocable trust daw, kanino daw itataxable? Yung income na na-incur ng trust, taxable to the grantor. Sino yung nagbigay? Ito. Yan daw yung taxable. Si employee trust naman, iisipin mo na lang muna, exempt ito. Okay? Exempt yung income na na-incur mo dyan unless, kasi sa employee yan. Okay? Unless or taxable siya kanino? Kay employee only if there is an excess of amount received over its total contribution. Yung employee trust kasi, gumawa kayo ng trust ng employee and ng employer mo, tapos nagko-contribute ka para siyang pension. Okay, sabi daw, exempt daw yan. Unless daw yung dinistribute o yung income na na-receive ng employee daw is sobra doon sa total contribution na ginawa, binigay niya. Taxable daw yung sobra doon. Kanino? Kay employee daw. Okay, part yan ng gross income sa compensation income. I-discuss na lang natin pag nasa gross income na topic na tayo. Medyo malala yun. Kalma ka lang muna. Yung revocable trust ulit. Ito yung concept ng revocable trust. Ganito pa rin. Meron pa rin nag-manage ng property pero sinasabi si grantor daw. Sinasabi ng grantor, kapag gusto kong bawiin, kapag nagbago yung isip ko, pwede kong bawiin. Revocable trust daw yun. Okay? Or sinasabi na part ng income na yan sa akin pa. Revocable trust pa rin daw yun. Pag irrevocable trust, sinasabi, binigay ko yung property, i-manage mo, sa'yo na yan, hindi ko na pwedeng bawiin kahit anong gawin ko. Yun yung sinasabi sa irrevocable trust. Pag irrevocable trust daw, merong separate entity. Pag revocable trust, walang separate entity. Yung income na na-incur mo kay grantor. Itatax. Okay, sir, paano pag silent yung problem? Anong iisipin ko? Irrevocable trust tayo. Okay? Walang bawi-bawian daw. Yun yung assumption mo. Ulitin ko. Kanina, kapag trust, ano yung assumption mo? Pag hindi sinabi sa problem, irrevocable trust. Pag co-ownership, anong assumption mo? Pag hindi sinabi sa problem, exempt yung co-ownership. Pag partnership, anong assumption mo? Pag hindi sinabi yung problem, ordinary partnership. Pag estate, anong assumption mo? Pag hindi sinabi kung ano yung estate, with under judicial settlement. Okay, yun yung assumption mo. Okay, mabilis lang. 40 minutes pa lang tayo, tapos na tayo sa dalawang topic. Dalawang chapters to sa libro. Dalawang chapter to na diniscuss kapag undergrad ninyo. Ngayon lang, tapos na tayo. 40 minutes lang. Ulitin ko lang, si partnership, si co-ownership, the same treatment sa corporation. Si estate, si trust, the same treatment sa individuals. So kung gusto mong maintindihan ng mas mabuti yung individual taxation and corporate taxation, meron tayong separate video dyan, mag-focus ka doon. Or balikan mo iyon. I assume tapos mo na yon. Dapat tapos mo na yon. So to materialize the concepts that we've discussed, let's try to answer these handouts. So sabi dyan, A and B are partners in a partnership which realized a gross income of 800,000. Okay, partnership daw. Nag-realize daw ng gross income of 800,000 with a corresponding 350,000 in expense in year 2025. A is married with 2 qualified dependent children which his own business generating net sales of 400,000. Okay, so si A daw, merong net sales na 400,000, incurring cost of sales and deductible expenses of 30 and 230,000 respectively. B, single, also his owns business generating 450,000 in net sales and incurring cost of sales and deductible expenses of 200,000 and 50,000 respectively. They share profit and losses of their partnerships 40 to 60. So kung i-illustrate mo yan, merong partnership, tapos yung partner, si A and si B. Tapos yung ratio daw, 40, 60. 40%, 60%. Magkano yung income na na-incur ni partnership? 800,000 less 350,000. Meron siyang net income of 800 less 350, 450,000. Requirement number 1, if the partnership is general professional partnership. So, saan taxable yung income ni partnership dyan? Kay A and kay B. The taxable income of A who avails of the optional standard deduction. Magkano ba yung share ni A dito? 40%. 450,000 times 40%, 180,000. Magkano yung 60% ng 450? 450,000 times 60%, 270,000. Sabi daw, magkano daw yung taxable income ni A? Magkano ba yung income ni A? Meron siyang income, di ba? 400,000. Kay A, meron siyang income of 400,000. Tapos sinabi, inavail daw yung optional standard deduction. Yung optional standard deduction, 40% yan ng gross sales. Okay, so 400,000, meron kang allowable deduction of 40%. So 40,000, shortcutin na lang natin, times 60%. 400,000 times 60%, 240,000. Tapos meron siyang share ng income, 180,000. So 240 plus 180,000 is equal to 420,000. Ito yung sagot natin for number 1. 420,000. Sir, ano yung 40% optional standard deduction? Fixed yan, okay? Didiscuss din natin yan sa deduction na topic. Basta isipin mo na lang muna ngayon, merong 40% optional standard deduction. And yung basis ng optional standard deduction mo na yan, pag individuals ka, yung gross sales mo. Sir, bakit hindi kasama yung 180,000? Yung 180,000, nag-allowed ka na ng deduction dito. So, kapag diniduct mo pa or sinama mo pa yan sa optional standard deduction mo, double deduction ka na. Hindi yun pwede daw, sabi sa batas. So, nangyari, 400,000 times 60%. But, sir, ba't 60%? 40% yung optional standard deduction. Ganito lang yan. 400,000 times 40% yung allowable deduction mo, 160,000. Magkano yung income mo? 400,000. Magkano yung deduction mo? 160,000, 240,000. Shinortcut ko lang. 400,000 times 60%, 240,000. Tapos, i-plus mo yung non-operating income from GPP. 420,000 yung taxable income mo kapag requirement letter A. Sa requirement letter B, tinatanong naman yung taxable income ni B. Kapag gumamit daw siya ng itemized deduction. Magkano ba yung income ni B? Meron siyang 450,000 na net sales, incurring cost of sales and deductible expenses of 200,000. So, i-less mo yan, 250,000 yan. 450 less 250,000, 200,000. Tapos meron siyang share of 270,000. So yung share niya sa net taxable yung net taxable income ni B is nasa 470,000. Yun yung sagot natin dito. 470,000. Diba? Dali lang. 470,000. Requirement 3, sabi, if the partnership is ordinary partnership, the tax due is, o magkano ba yung net income ni partnership? 450,000, tama. Tapos, tax like a corporation, RSIT or MSIT. Sinabi ba yung value ng land or ng property? Hindi. So, anong assumption mo? 25%. So, 450,000 times 25%, yung tax due mo, 112,500. Sagot mo dito, 112,500. Basic si partnership. Okay? Let's move on. Illustration number 2. Sabi sa illustration number 2, Lola Lilia died on February 2, 2025, leaving a net estate of 40 million. So, yan yung property na iniwanan ni Lola Lilia. The estate is in the hands of an executor. Benji, nephew of Lilia, and Grapes, niece of Lilia, were designated as heirs in Lola Lilia's will. So, si Benji, tapos si Grapes daw yung heirs. Tandaan mo. In 2025, the estate had a gross income of 2.5. Sir, yung 40 million, saan yan subject? Estate tax, transfer tax. Huwag mo munang pakialaman yan. Ano yung subject natin muna? Ano yung kailangan muna natin dito? Yung income lang muna ng estate, which is 2.5 less 750,000. Magkano yan? 2,500,000 less 750,000. Meron siyang net income of 1,750,000 before distribution. Ito, nag-distribute daw siya ng from properties. Nag-distribute daw siya ng 250,000 sa properties ng estate. Ito daw yan. Ignore mo yan. Ito, nag-distribute daw siya galing saan? Sa income daw. Kanina binigay kay Benji. Net of 15% CWT. So, hanapin mo nga yung 100% niyan. 187,000. Divide mo ng 85%. Yung 100% less 15%. So, 220,000. Ito yung 100%. Yung 221,000. Divide mo ng 85%. Yung 100% neto, 260,000. So, in short, kung i-analyze mo yan, yung income na dinistribute kay Benji, 220. Yung income na dinistribute kay Grapes, 260. Pero yung income na na-receive lang or yung cash lang na na-receive ni Benji is 187,000. Bakit? Kasi nga, winidhold yung 15%. Creditable withholding tax yan. Kanino? Creditable withholding tax ni Benji and ni Grapes. Okay? Next, Benji, a CPA, earned professional fees in 2025 in the amount of 760,000 and incurred cost of sales and operating expenses of 100,000 and 12,000 respectively. Compute the income tax payable or refundable of the estate, Benji and Grapes. So, unahin natin si estate. Si estate, meron ulit income na 1,750,000. Tama, meron ka pang allowable deduction, special deduction, yung 220 and 260 na dinistribute niya sa heir. So, meron ka ditong less 220,000, less 260,000, 1,750, less 220, less 260, 1,270,000 yung income tax or yung net taxable income ni estate. Si estate taxable like an individual. Saan siya taxable? Graduated tax table. 1,270. Nasa column siya ng 800,000 to 200,000. So, anong gagawin mo? Less ka ng 800,000 dito. Minus 800,000. 1,270 less 800,000. 470,000. Ano yung tax rate sa column na yan? 25%. Times 25%. Times 0.25. 117,500. Tapos meron kang ipa-plus daw dyan, 100 to 500. So, plus 100 to 500, 220,000. Pag tinanong, magkano yung tax due? Ito yan, 220,000. Tama, meron siyang credit, merong winidhold dito sa 26. Ay, wala pala. Estate lang pala tayo. Tama. Sa estate, ang sagot natin for estate is 220,000. Advance na ako. So, sagot mo kay estate 220,000. Lagyan natin na red ball pen. Estate tayo dyan. Okay. Next, punta tayo kay Benji. Si Benji, mayroong income, professional fees of 760,000. Ano sabi? Si Benji daw ginamit yung optional standard deduction. So, yung 100,000 na cost of services, tapos 12,000 na cost or na operating expenses, i-ignore mo yan. Anong gagawin mo? I-multiply mo na yan directly by 60%. So, 760,000 times 60%, 456,000. Okay, tapos meron siyang income na magkano? Ito, di ba? 220,000 non-operating income yan. So, 456,000 plus 220,000. Yung net taxable income ni Benji is 776,000. I-tax mo sa tax table. Nasaan siya? Between 400 to 800. So, less 400,000. Sabi, in excess of 400,000. 276,000. times 20%. Magkano yan? 276,000 times 20%, 55,200. Plus, o yung 22,500 dito. Plus, 22,500. Uy, 55,200 plus 22,500 is equal to 77,700. Okay. Oh. Tapos meron siyang creditable withholding tax, tama? Credit or binawasan yung 220,000 niya dito. So, ito, tax due. Magkano tax payable niya? 77,700. Magkano ba yung winidhold sa kanya? 187,000 less 220,000, 33,000. So, minus ka ng CWT dito, 33,000. Yung tax payable mo is 77,700 less 33,000 is equal to 44,700. So, yung kay B, kay Benji, 44,700. Magkano naman kay Grapes? Oh, si Grapes. Magkano ba income ni Grapes? Walang sinabi. So, 260,000 lang. Okay. 260,000 lang yung kay Grapes. Hindi naman yan compensation income. So, i-assume mo, business income yan. So, kung business income yan, tapos sinabi, nag-avail daw siya ng 8% tax regimen. So, meron kang allowable deduction of up to 250,000 dito. So, yung net taxable income mo lang, 10,000. Times ka ng 8%, this is around 800 pesos. Yan yung tax due. Meron kang creditable withholding tax. Magkano? 260,000 less 221,000 is equal to 39,000. So, deduction yan. 39,000 less 800, 38,200. Tax payable ba yan? No. Anong tawag dyan? Tax refundable. Okay, so for Grapes, meron siyang tax refundable of 38,200. 8% tax regimen. Madali lang din, diba? Wag ka lang, ang nagpahirap lang kay estate and kay trust, usually, merong creditable withholding tax. Pero kapag nagets mo na yung creditable withholding tax na yan, nagets mo yung concept ng creditable withholding tax, magiging madali na sa'yo to. Wag kang malilito. Yung creditable withholding tax na yan, tax credit yan kanino? Kay Benji and kay Grapes. Bakit? Sino ba yung naka-receive ng income? Si Benji at si Grapes. Baka i-deduct mo yan sa estate. Hindi, okay? Kay Benji yan and kay Grapes. So, yan for illustration number 2. Next tayo. Illustration number 3. Actually, this is our last illustration for this video discussion. So, sabi dyan, in 2024, Don Juan created a trust for his daughter, Bella, and appointed attorney Chris as the trustee. In 2025, the property Don Juan transferred to the trust is a 10-door apartment, earned rental income of 237,500 per month. Net of 5% withholding tax. So, magkano yung gross? Yan, 237,500 divided by 95% kasi 5% daw yung withholding tax niya, 250,000. Ulitin ko, 250,000 per month. Sinabi pa, annual cost of revenue of 500,000. O annual, ba't annual? Anong gagawin mo? Yung 250,000 na monthly dito, i-convert mo lang into annual. Magkano? 12 months. 250,000 times 12 months, 3 million pesos. So, yung annual income doon sa rent or doon sa galing sa rent is nasa 3 million pesos. And yung annual cost of revenue is 500,000. So, 3 million pesos, 500,000. And deductible expense of 380,000 were incurred in the same year. Tapos sabi, 30% of the net income of the trust was given to Bella. So, magkano yung 30% ng net income? Before the distribution, 3 million less 500,000 less 380,000, 2,120,000. Tapos sabi daw, 30% daw niyan, dinistribute. So, times 30%, 636,000. Special deduction yan. So, meron kang allowable deduction dito ulit, 636,000. 636,000 less 2,120,000 is equal to 1,484,000. Ito yung net taxable income ni estate. Anong tinatanong? Income tax payable of the trust. Trust pala ta. Okay? And si trust treated as individual. So, saan isa subject? Tax table. So, si 1,484,000 between 800 to 2 million yan. So, less ka dito ng 800,000. So 1,484 less 800,000 is equal to 684,000. Tapos i-tax mo sa percentage na 25%. So 684,000 times 25% is equal to 171,000. Tapos ipa-plus mo daw yung 102,500. Makocompute mo yung tax due mo, which is nasa 273,500. Tax due. Anong tinatanong? Tax payable. Meron bang tax credit? Yes, 5%. 5% ng ano? 3 million pesos. To 5%. So 3 million times 5%, 3 million times 5%, 150,000 yung all-in-all tax credit mo for the month. So meron ka dito 273,500 less 150,000 na creditable withholding tax. Makocompute mo si income tax payable mo na 123,500. Basic. Walang kahirap-hirap. Basta alam mo yung concept ng creditable withholding tax. O, wag ka na naman malilito. Sir, bakit dito ngayon kay estate ako nag-deduct ng creditable withholding tax? Hindi ba siya CWT ni Bella? Hindi. Isipin mo, sino yung naka-receive ng income? Si Trust na withhold yung 5% withholding tax. So, yung creditable withholding tax, creditable mo kay Trust. Kuha? Okay. So, that's it for this video discussion. Let's magpahinga ka na muna. Take a deep breath. Have a good day. Ingat. Ciao.